happens when you get triggered? Hello and welcome. And today's insight is going to be mainly about acting out of frustration, out of triggers, out of all those things. What happens? Well, first of all, what happens is that most people who aren't very introspective are quite get taken aback by it and don't know how to react. And not everyone has an introspective sort of perspective on things, right? No, they don't. So, in those cases, either the person loses face in front of others, or others just lose, it's an and or. Others just lose interest. If they haven't thought this out enough, if they haven't introspected enough, if they aren't comfortable enough in their own skin, these problems will occur. So, now, what do you do when these happen? What do you do when someone gets triggered? So generally, what I did in the one situation where I was confronted by someone who got triggered, because I'm used to being surrounded by people who get triggered by others and who not cry out, but who react. I knew what to do, which was don't react to their reaction. Just straight face. Don't allow the situation to affect you more than it should, because why do people react? To get a reaction out of you. But if you stay calm, cool, collected, it should pass by. No issues. Alright? So in those cases, you need to know how to be the calming effect, the the individual who either levels the playing field, or the person who just knows how to leave the playing field. If that makes sense at all. Right? It's knowing when enough's enough, and when your time has ended, and just going and just being, I'm out. And you say your piece and you go. That's it. There's more strength and more weight to what is said shortly but succinctly, and that leaves a lasting effect rather than how should I say it? Rather than someone who it's going to depend on how you do this, but some people get to achieve their goal because they were persistent and perseverant in their acts, right? And there are other people who succeed in their objective because they are blunt, obvious. Well, what I mean by blunt and obvious is that they're in your face, they make it known, and it is, it is shocking. Short and shocking. The action is quite short and has a very big shock effect to it, right? But as I mentioned, there are others who like to be like water, like water dripping on stone, reshaping it over eons. So it depends on where you stand in this process of bringing change, because if you know how you bring change into a situation, you will also know then how to bring change into your reality post accident. Now, you need to understand also that depending on your accident, depending on what happened, things within you might have changed. And due to those changes, you also need to understand that your way of dealing with things might have changed as well. So if you were a person that would be very in your face and very affirmative about things that you want to accomplish before your accident, then you might not be that way still after your accident. Or you might have switched the opposite way. You were very calm, very like earth signy, don't like to move things around, and would like to art, and that you're comfortable in your current reality. So you don't necessarily want to change things too much, too much, because you're just like, I'm comfortable here. And why change was not broken, right? Exactly. Or why change what works? So it's also being able to understand that your personality might change after the trauma in response to that said trauma. So in actuality, knowing how you operate at any given moment in your trajectory, in your timeline, in your life, will be very beneficial for you to know how to bring about the change that you want to create. I hope that makes sense. If not, ask questions and it'll be my pleasure to answer. So, is there something that you want to undertake that you can't or you haven't up to date? Ponder that and why. Right? So, is there something that you would like to undertake but you haven't up to date for a specific reason, and why? Ponder that